As we all know, one of the great things about the calendar changing to a new year is that hope springs eternal and optimism reigns supreme. It's out with the old, it's in with the new. I'm going to resolve to do this, I'm going to change this, and usually a whole lot of bunch of shit doesn't happen. It's just more of the same old crap. And I know as WWE fans, I'm not alone in being very thankful that 2014 is safely in the rearview mirror where it can largely stay for the rest of all times. And we're hoping that 2015 is going to give us some changes. It's going to give us something different, and hopefully that leads to giving us something better. So what did the WWE, and in particular Vince McMahon, do with this first Raw of 2015 to make us feel confident in the future direction of this company, especially heading into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season? What did Vince McMahon and the WWE do to make us feel more optimistic about the current direction of the company? Well, let me tell you what they did. What better way to signify change for your company and your product in 2015 than kicking off the show with the 15-minute Authority promo segment? And in that segment, the big reveal was that Seth Rollins was going to be added to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match between John Cena and Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. It's a triple threat now. Hooray! And of course, Seth Rollins is celebrating, and Triple H is glad-handing himself, and the fans are jerking off to this thought. And all the while, the WWE seems to be neglecting an incredibly important detail. And that is, why would the guy that has the Money in the Bank briefcase, which guarantees him a title shot whenever he wants it, be excited about having to get in the ring and potentially wrestling two other dudes for a shot at the freaking title? Why wouldn't he just want to lay in the weeds and be able to cash in that briefcase, I don't know, whenever in the fuck he felt appropriate? Why would the Money in the Bank winner need a title shot here? Furthermore, why would the Money in the Bank winner be excited about having to step into the ring with John Cena, somebody he's never beaten 100% clean, and the freaking dude that decimated John Cena at SummerSlam, and the dude that ended The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania in Brock fucking Lesnar? Feature that! Instead of doing something to attempt to follow up on what he did at Survivor Series, being the ultimate survivor for Team Cena, or doing anything to actually trying to establish a character and get people bought into Dolph Ziggler, we decide to once again trot him out there and have him wrestle in the second segment of the night. I'm actually going to start calling Dolph Ziggler Dose Ziggler, as in to Ziggler, as in the second fucking segment, because that seems that's all the WWE thinks he's good for, to follow up a 15-minute Authority promo segment with a medium-length, medium-quality match in the second segment of the night. So, of course, Dolph Ziggler had to wrestle somebody, and in this case, it was Bad News Barrett, and hey, this guy never actually lost his Intercontinental title. He had to surrender it. It actually is something that makes some sense, until you realize that they brought him back as a babyface last week, and that seemed to kind of work, only to this week have him turn into full-fledged typical Wade Barrett heel again. You bring him back as a face one week, just to turn him heel the next week, and then you have him win the Intercontinental Championship, because that accomplishes what exactly? The WWE once again went out of their way to mock customers that are still paying full price for the pay-per-views instead of subscribing to the WWE Network for $9.99 a month. That's right, let's mock customers of ours that are paying more for a service when they could pay less, because that seems like a great business model to run off of, doesn't it? Vince McMahon decides that the best way to get Roman Reigns over with the fans and prepare him for a monster push in 2015, perhaps winning the Royal Rumble and main eventing WrestleMania 31 and even winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, is having them cut one of the most ridiculous Superman-themed promos that I have ever heard in my entire freaking life that sounds like it was coming from some 15-year-old wannabe filming it on his little non-high-definition camera for his backyard federation. And then we trot him out there to wrestle a crappy match against the Big Show. This is the guy that you want to win the Royal Rumble? This is the guy that you envision being ready to main event WrestleMania? And this is how you figure it's best to get him fucking ready for that spot? We had Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan, two characters that were broken off from Bray Wyatt for whatever reason, just like so many other people are always broken off from something they were doing that was kind of working. Two guys that have absolutely no direction with their characters right now, two characters that are really hard to relate to on the side of the fence that we're supposed to relate to them on, get thrown together in a match here that should actually be the culmination of a legitimate storyline between these two guys that would actually work, and then we get a crappy match with a stupid finish. We have the Ascension cutting one of the most god-awful, ridiculous heel promos that I've heard in quite some time, which seems like nothing more to me than Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn trying to send a message to Triple H that you could do whatever the fuck you want to do on NXT, but when they get to the actual main WWE roster, it's still our show, and we're going to do crap however the fuck we want to do it. Now, while a lot of people got pissy pantsed, I think, for no good reason about what the Ascension actually said on this promo, I got pissy pantsed because I looked at the fucking Ascension. Instead of just having them be two big, badass powerhouses, we decided to make them two idiotic bad guys. And then even worse is we got the commentators freaking burying them for doing that. How is that getting anybody over? And how is that helping the Ascension get any type of foothold in the WWE? Stepping in for Jerry Lawler this week, we have Booker T, a black man as a commentator, who is cracking jokes and making fun of Texas's stand your ground laws. Now, I don't know about you, Booker, but I would think if anybody would find that less than amusing, if anybody would sit there and think that that's something to not laugh about, it would be fucking Booker T. You would think, but only in the WWE could they be able to sit there and convince black men that have had to live through racism their entire lives, and especially during their professional careers with the WWE, that everything is just fine and there's absolutely no racist treatment of any non-white wrestlers in the company. You know what, Booker? I surrender on this. We had a 6-man tag match for the Usos, so according to my 2015 predictions, that's 1 down and 14 more to go. We have Ryback get beat in a 2-on-1 handicap match because we've just got to get Kane involved, even though Kane kills everything, especially heat with any other characters. And then Seth Rollins, of course, had to get a meaningless victory where he could have beat somebody clean. We took one of the few guys on the roster right now that is really getting a nice reaction, and that is Ryback, and had him look stupid in this match. We have a match where we make the New Day look corny and stupid because why would we ever want to cheer for any black wrestlers? And we decide the best way to utilize Tyson Kidd and Cesaro is to have them be surprise rosebuds, because we won't forget about this and completely drop it in 3 and 4 weeks, will we? I mean, literally, what the F was that? You have Cesaro and Tyson Kidd appear as masked rosebuds, knowing damn good and well you are going to drop this like a bad habit in a couple of weeks. And this could clearly be one of those instances where it is better to be off of TV if you're Cesaro than actually being on TV. So the one thing of any real consequence or purpose from an in-ring standpoint that we were going to have on this week's Raw was Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt in an ambulance match. So of course, only logically, since it was the first ever ambulance match in WWE history, not named Ryback versus Brad Maddox for a little over 2 years ago, let's go ahead and not have it main event the damn show. And try as they might, the crowd just really couldn't get into this nearly as much as they maybe needed to, because the crowd had been deflated by so much at this point in time, yet the WWE still persisted that this was the way to go. An ambulance match where you have Dean Ambrose lose, because that's a way to really establish momentum for this guy heading into 2015. So that way you could have Bray Wyatt win, because now you've realized how bad you screwed up with him in 2014 by feeding him to the Cena monster, giving him a crappy storyline with Chris Jericho. Now we got to get him ready for The Undertaker in a match that frankly a lot of people aren't going to give a shit about and not going to want to fucking see. And of course, the predominant theme throughout the night, what better way to kick off 2015 and signal big changes than by having the show being centered around everything pertaining to John Cena? Hell, we're going to go out and say it. It's John Cena Appreciation Night. What John Cena Appreciation Night ultimately was all about was fucking with Eric Rowan, Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback and making them look stupid, and having an excuse to give yet another 15 minutes of precious television time to the freaking Authority. Also, that way we could follow up on what happened at Survivor Series. Now, John Cena last week has brought back the Authority. It's all his fault. It's all on him. So how are we going to punish him? We're going to threaten to suspend Rowan. We're going to sit there and threaten to suspend Dolph Ziggler and suspend Ryback. And then we're not going to do that. We're going to have Triple H and Stephanie walk up the ramp and tell those three that they're fired. And then you get that opportunity and you get that moment where you look and you wonder what's going to happen. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Is Sting going to appear? Is Brock Lesnar going to appear? Is Seth Rollins going to appear? Is this fire going to shoot out of this guy's ass? Or is this guy going to do this? Is somebody going to fall from the rafters? Is John Cena going to turn heel? Are these other guys that apparently have just lost their fucking jobs going to turn and blame John Cena and maybe whoop his fucking ass? Or while Triple H and Stephanie are sitting there mocking them, are they actually, since they're fired, what the fuck does it matter? Are they going to go try and chase them and beat the shit out of them? Nope. What we're going to do instead is we're really going to sell the moment. And we're really going to get the people engaged in John Cena by expressing the emotion of guilt. That's John Cena's punishment. He was the captain of the team at Survivor Series. He's the one responsible for getting these guys to have their ass kicked throughout the night. He's the one that's responsible for getting all of these people fired. So the best way to get people behind him, the best way to do something creative with him from a storyline standpoint, the best way to create any type of weakness in his character is to make him feel guilty. I got my friends fired. Boo, 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 boo. This isn't right. If you haven't gotten the gist by now, in my opinion, in order to have enjoyed this Raw this week, you either had to be drunk, high, and or a moron. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it. For those of you that always foolishly think that things are going to change with the WWE, there are better times ahead, and that maybe 2015 was going to be a time for change in this company, I got news for you. Ain't shit changing. It's still the same old WWE. A lack of attention to detail, crappy writing throughout the night, terrible commentary throughout the night. We're doing dumb things with characters for dumb dick reasons, and at the end of the night, it's all about Triple H and freaking John Cena. And instead of doing something meaningful and significant with John Cena that people actually want to see, we get a lame-ass finish where everybody else except Cena looks bad, and we find out even more just how much Vince McMahon truly has a hard-on for this guy, and we understand just how truly much Vince McMahon is running this product and this company into the fucking ground. Ain't shit changing, people. This is still the same old WWE.